Seeing the creatures about to break in, they smashed the basement cover desperately. The next second, pitch-black tunnel appeared before them. Without thinking, they crawled inside. And just before the creatures broke down the door, everyone managed to hide in the basement. But once they got down there, they were stunned by what they saw. They found the basement filled with supplies, and even a computer. What surprised them even more was that the computer could still be turned on. Although it wasn't connected to the internet, they found hundreds of video clips inside, showing a biology professor recording his daily research on the alien creatures. The professor says everything went smoothly at first, but soon he unexpectedly found the creatures came near the cabin every night, imitating human movements and behavior, as if trying to blend into human life. So to study them more closely, the professor lured nearby villagers over and offered them to the creatures. Using this method, he eventually captured one alien life form. At this point, no one else dared to keep watching, but Lisa insisted on finishing all the videos. She never imagined that, in the final video, there was a hidden way to escape the forest. It turns out the professor had already mapped out an escape route. He left a small boat by a riverbed labeled 134, ready for anyone trying to flee. As long as they followed the direction the birds flew, they could make it out of the forest. Hearing there was still a chance to get out, everyone jumped around excitedly all night. At dawn the next morning, they climbed out of the basement, only to find the cabin had already been torn apart by monsters. But there was no time to think. They had to reach the boat at the 134 riverbed before dark. So they followed the markers and kept moving forward. No one knew how long they walked, but they finally arrived at location 134. Lisa immediately released the parrot from its cage. They thought following the bird's direction would lead them out safely, but fate had a cruel twist waiting for them. Soon after, the once clear sky suddenly poured heavy rain, and weather without sunlight was the perfect time for the creatures to hunt. The next second, a swarm of monsters crawled out of the caves. Hearing the noise, the group had no choice but to run along the riverbed. Very soon, they found the boat the professor mentioned. But right then, the girls suddenly realized Mike had vanished from the group. Before they could react, Mike appeared at the bank dragging the girl's boyfriend's body, but she instantly noticed it wasn't really him. She shouted for Mike to run back, but it was already too late. The next moment, Mike was taken away by a creature disguised as a human. Terrified, the others jumped onto the boat, but they had barely pushed off when the alien creatures chased after them. Everyone thought they were doomed, but to their surprise, the alien creatures couldn't swim. They could only stand helplessly on the shore, watching the group drift farther away. As the sunlight of the next day slowly lit up the forest, the three survivors finally escaped that terrifying place and returned to the human world.
You ladies all right?
Where's this bus going?